salvation through the eyes of the disciples. The gates and doors are barred and all the windows fastened down. I spent the night in sleeplessness and rose at every sound, half in hopeless sorrow and half in fear the day would find the soldiers breaking through, drag us all away. Just before the sunrise, I heard something at the wall. Gates began to rattle and a voice began to call. I hurried to the window and looked down into the street, expected towards the torches and the sound of soldiers' feet. But there was no one there but Mary, so I went down to let her in. John stood there beside me as she told me where she'd been. She said they've moved him in the night and none of us know where. The stone's been rolled away and now his body isn't there. We both ran toward the garden and John ran on ahead. We found the stone in the empty tomb just the way that Mary'd said. But the winding sheet they wrapped him in was just an empty shell. And how away they'd taken him was more than I could tell. Something strange had happened there, just what I did not know. John believed a miracle, but I just turned to go. Circumstances, speculation couldn't lift me very high, 'cause I'd seen them crucify him and I saw him die. Back inside the house again, guilt and anguish came. Everything I'd promised him just added to my shame. When at last it came to choices, I denied I knew his name. And even if he was alive, it wouldn't be the same. But suddenly the air was filled with strange and sweet perfume. Light that came from everywhere drove shadows from the room. And Jesus stood before me with his arms held open wide. I fell down on my knees and I clung to him and cried. Then he raised me to my feet, and as I looked into his eyes, the love was shining out from him like sunlight from the skies. Guilt and my confusion disappeared in sweet release, and every fear I'd ever felt just melted into peace. He's alive, yes he's alive. He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive, he's alive. He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive, he's alive. He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive, he's alive. He's alive and I believe it. He's alive. Oh, he's alive. He's alive. He's alive and I'm forgiven. Heaven's gates are open wide. He's alive. He's alive. He lives. And that's the perspective of a disciple.